What's up, friends? This time of year is a special one for a number of reasons. One, it's the holidays, and you get sick food, presents, etc. Next, however, is that we've just passed the 1-year anniversary of the date I started to really put effort into this channel, and we've also just hit the 200 subscriber milestone. I hope going forward I'm able to continue playing all these cool games and sharing them with you. I also hope we can keep growing and get even more people to see how many cool, niche titles are out there to play. Anyways, thanks for all your support, and let's get into the video. Tonight, we're making a special trip into Old School Runescape to go on a frosty winter adventure. Our journey starts just outside of Lumbridge, where Santa's very own son, Jack Frost, awaits us. As we approach our destination, we see that next to Jack sits an unmissable sight. An entire farmer's field has been frozen solid, and what looks like random holiday decorations are spread out around it. Upon being questioned about what happened to this field, Jack tells us a bit of a tale. He sighs sadly and says that despite what you may think, Christmas Day is actually his least favorite time of year, as his dad is far too occupied with work to spend time with him. His father Santa Claus is simply too busy delivering presents around that time, and whenever Frost tries to help, he ends up getting in the way. This year, his father told him to pitch in a different sort of way, however, that may suit his talents a bit more. This year, he was tasked with bringing a bit of holiday cheer to the people of Gelenor. Of course, with the powers at Jack Frost's hands, he could freeze over the entire world. He figured, however, that when specifying by saying a little bit of cheer, his dad meant he should only freeze a bit of the land for fun. And so, he decided that this farmer's field right next to the famous Lumbridge Castle would do perfectly. Frost's idea was to make a winter-themed playground for all who came by, fit with everything from ramps to snowballs. He says the prototype is ready, and that so far it seems to be going okay, as he saw a cow enter it and partake in the merriment. Upon being asked how the cow fared on the ramps, Frost even delighted us with a little reenactment depicting it slipping and sliding all over the place hilariously. He stops his reenactment after a bit though, and declares that despite being tested by a cow, he's not sure whether it will be fun for people. He asks us to give it a go, and to draw out a heart by stepping on specific points he marks out for us. Then off we go, diving headfirst into the winter wonderland, only to find that true to his name, Jack frosted over the entire ground in a layer made of slippery ice. In order to get anywhere near these points he asked us to reach, we're going to need to carefully plan our route and cling to any solid ground we can find. Marker by marker, we make our way through, slowly plotting out the rough shape of a heart in the snow, and upon completion, Jack calls us back. We were a bit shocked when instead of being given a congratulations for our efforts, however, we were mocked on the shoddy nature of our heart-drawing skills. A bit offended at his joke and wanting to retaliate, we throw back a little jab in return at the accuracy of his field freezing skills. Unable to handle the heat, however, Jack suggested we call a truce on our winter roast-off and get back to the next phase of testing his creation. This next test had Frost tasking us with trying out the main ramp in the center of his creation to see just how chill it really is. Eager to get back to the merriment, we rush off to complete his request. Sliding up to the frost-ridden ramp, the approach begins to look a bit more daunting than we initially thought, however. But after gaining our courage, we make our icy leap across the gap and successfully land on the other end with all limbs intact. Once we slam into the fence, stopping us from spilling into the river, Frost calls out to us again, asking if we could try that very jump just one more time. Feeling confident after our initial daredevil act, we agree, and soon enough, set off on what we think will be a routine jump. As we make our way to the ramp once more, we realize that Jack's placed an entire shark made of ice in the middle as an obstacle. We safely make it to the other end, and as we do, Frost takes no time at all to reveal his little scary prank was a setup for a shark-themed pun. What's left of us returns back to Jack, slightly more brave, and slightly less fond of puns. Upon completing that winter-themed feat, we get a bit of a congratulations from Frost. Soon after, the merriment is cut short however, when out of nowhere appears a towering skeleton dressed in ominous but vaguely familiar garb. This being is announced as Anti-Santa, and upon his arrival, he lets out an ominous laugh and greeting to Jack. Jack, with fear in his voice, asks him what he's doing here and if his dad sent him for some reason, but Anti-Santa laughs and says he has his own reasons for coming. See, Anti-Santa exists in opposition to all that regular Santa stands for, like merriment and joy. He believes that the world is here to be a showcase of pain and suffering, and that this little bit of merriment we've been enjoying spits in the face of that. Anti-Santa claims that Jack's playground of cheer must be melted. In a seemingly random and sudden change of heart, Jack agrees with Anti-Santa and joins in, saying that fun indeed has no place here. He then goes on to reveal that his ice playground is actually something of a torture chamber for the locals to fall over and get hurt in. Outraged at this betrayal, we voice our anger at Jack, as he's now suggested that he lied to us to get us to participate in this sick joke of his. Jack, in yet another twist however, signals to us that he's merely pretending and to go along with his act for Anti-Santa. See, Jack's plan is to convince Anti-Santa that this playground of merriment is actually the torture chamber he described, as if Anti-Santa believes this ruse, he may leave the both of you alone. Jack has a few ideas in store for Anti-Santa, but he's gonna need our help to pull them off. His first suggestion is to send Anti-Santa out on the ice himself to get a taste of the action. Anti-Santa agrees, but doesn't really see the torment or pain in this act just yet. It's then that Jack tasks us with sneak attacking Anti-Santa as he's stuck on the ice, by throwing a barrage of snowballs at him from his blind spot. Slowly but surely, Anti-Santa begins to get more and more irritated as the snow begins melting into his jacket and boots. Finally, he gives in and admits that the ice playground is a little irritating, but still not enough to make him leave. Jack has a backup plan up his sleeve, however, and announces that it weirdly involves him making us a bit fatter using his magic. Confused, we ask him to clarify. He slyly states that humans normally put on some weight during this time of year, so he's just speeding up the process for us. He continues, however, by explaining his plan is to use your newfound weight for extra force to tackle Anti-Santa in the middle of the ice rink and show him once for all just how miserable this ring can be. Skeptically agreeing to Jack's plan, we line up our approach for the tackle and set off. In a stunning success, we manage to send the behemoth that is Anti-Santa flying back into a wall. We hit him so hard that he says he even cracked a rib. He must seriously be some kind of masochist though, because he just laughs this injury off while declaring that the ice playground has indeed met his criteria for suffering and can stay for now. With that, he poofs off to spread dread and misfortune to some other sorry souls. Returning to Jack, we're congratulated on a job well done. It seems the extra weight he added really did the trick. Before we head our separate ways, however, Jack stops us and reveals that he has one last task he wanted us to do. This one happened to be the most important of all, it seems, as well. After eagerly waiting to see what he reveals, he subverts our expectations a bit when he states that he simply wants us to go and pet a goose in a Santa hat behind us. Slightly unsure of what Jack hopes to accomplish with this task, we agree and waddle over to the small animal. It seems furious when we pet it and lets out a loud honk, but nothing else too unusual happens outside of that. Confused again, we return to Jack, only to find that this was all just another silly dad joke tier prank he wanted to pull on us by sending us on a wild goose chase of sorts. It seems his way of showing Christmas cheer is with puns so bad they end up good again. With that settled, he says he's done with the pranks, and thanks us for our help in making this Christmas one to remember. He claims he's gonna have a lot of stories to tell his dad at the dinner table once this is all over, and we tell him that if jolly old Saint Nick doesn't believe the hijinks we got up to, that he can come and hear the story straight from us anytime. As our mission is now complete, we're gifted with a new Christmas sweater and a sick snowball hat before being sent on our way to finish off the holidays in style. And that, friends, wraps up this year's annual winter tale in the cozy world of Old School Runescape. It's always fun to come back to this game I played all the way back in 4th grade and have so many memories with. Despite its unassuming looks, it really has a lot of heart and fun moments that make the world feel warm and alive sometimes. Seeing these new holiday events every year and scratching that occasional OCD grinding itch keeps me coming back to this gem time after time. Outside of that, I also wanted to make this video in part to thank you all for coming along on my first year of banger game reviews and new content, and to say that I hope to continue on for many more too, keeping you all up to date on the very best forgotten gems in gaming. I want to evolve the channel in a number of different ways going forward, like having a bit more gaming news, and maybe even adding in TV or movie reviews too. If you have any suggestions for games or movies you'd like me to check out, as always, leave them in the comments. And make sure to look forward to my next review coming out soon on one of the first JRPGs I've really experienced. Anyways, happy holidays, thanks again for watching, and see you guys soon.